1962 Buick Skylark, gasser.
How long have you had it?
I've had this one for about 8 months. So I got it original and then made it to this, 8 months.
A lot of work put into it?
A lot of work. Pretty much every weekend during this winter, out in the garage. So basically it was original when I got it, all original. Took all the original drivetrain out of it, motor, transmission, rear end, all that stuff came out. And then I pretty much built a frame out of rectangle tubing because it's a unibody car, so you gotta make it rigid. And then pretty much just mounted all the newer stuff kind of under it. It's got a straight axle in the front. Normally it had like, independent suspension in the front, but I want it to look like an old drag car, and they used straight axles back in the 60s. So I put a straight axle in the front with leaf springs, and so it's big block Chevy stuffed in there. That's out of like a dump truck motor pretty much.
You always have the hood on?
For now, yeah, because this sticks up, and I got a different intake with 4 carburetors I want to put on it, so I'm gathering pieces for that, and I only want to cut the hole once in the hood. I didn't want to cut a hole for this and then might be off or something for the other way, so just leaving the hood off for now. I pretty much just got this one going. It's a pretty nice car. It's got electric windows, factory, and they work. It's like a ladder bar or a rear control arm. Keeps the rear end straight, otherwise it would want to turn. So that's kind of how they did it back in the old days, so I kind of wanted to use them to make it look like how it would have been done, back in the old days.
It's a 1950 Chevy Styline Deluxe.
How long have you had it?
A year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of...
put an LS in it. He did. Put it on bags.
Completely tore it apart this winter. Motor swap, tranny, front suspension, rear suspension, air ride, pretty much all the drivetrain. So originally it had a straight 6 in it, 3 on the tree. So it was a manual drive. Now everything's automatic. Power brakes, disc brakes. So now she can drive it wherever, whenever, not have a problem.
You prefer the automatic transmission?
Oh yeah. I drove the 3 on the tree once, so it was alright.
Just got the exhaust finished today and aligned last week, the front end aligned last week, so just starting to get to drive it, get everything figured out with it and how it runs and works. And
is it fun to drive?
Oh yeah, yep. I'm super happy. You did awesome.
My name is Ian Moore, and this is my 1937 Chevrolet Master 2-door sedan. I've had it for maybe since 2017, however long that is. It's had a number of revisions since initial build. It started out pretty basic. It has a roll cage in it now, kind of more of a geared towards a racing setup. Got some racing type seats in it and harnesses, and makes a lot more horsepower than it did initially. It's got a turbo on it and stuff now. I built the engine up to have a lot more horsepower, and I kind of had a plan to do some racing events. So requirements for tracks are to have certain safety standards. So I had
5-point harness,
upgraded seats and seat belts, and it's got a roll cage, all in the name of safety. I like that.
So do you put all that on every time you're driving down the road?
Nope.
Just
No.
the waist belt?
I don't typically wear any of it.
Okay.
Only if I'm in a racing type scenario.
Yeah.
Usually I don't really wear it. The engine originally was just a stock Chevrolet 6-liter LQ4, and now I've stroked it to 398 cubic inches, and it's got a Borg-Warner turbo on it and a air-to-water intercooler, and it makes considerably more power now than it did before.
So it keeps the engine cooler, and that gives you more power too.
Yeah, the air coming in is a lot cooler with the intercooler, yeah.
And how did you give it more displacement?
The crankshaft that has a longer stroke.
I see, not displacement.
Yeah, the displacement. So the crankshaft has an arm on it, and the longer the arm is, the more it moves the piston up and down. So if you make the stroke of the crankshaft longer, it increases your displacement.
My name's Zach Ankrum. I got a 1964 Chevy C10. It's all four corners airbagged, and it's got a 5.3 fuel injected LS with 4L60 behind it. Pretty much built it to cruise just about anywhere and everywhere. I haven't had many issues with it yet. Every time that it is something, it's minor, so it's a matter of just fix it and get it going again. We built it I built it in 15, and it pretty much built or worked on it every single winter since to get it to where it's at now. And I would still consider it not finished whatsoever. I mean, there's things that I still want to fix and change and do, but someday I'll do it. Went through the 2 years in auto body for WIT, got it painted, and then the following year we did all the suspension work. The following year after that we did the motor. The following year after that we did the air ride, and it was just progressively have gotten it to where it's at now. And that's, we'd like to, between me and the wife, we'd like to finish off the interior, kind of make it a little bit nicer, but we actually just gained a set of twins in the last month and a half, so this is kind of turned into a side piece, and I'm actually working on a 1949 Plymouth Special Deluxe right now that's going to be the family cruiser. So hopefully next year or at some point that will be done, but it's a slow process on that one too.
Yeah, slow process. You have a timeline on it though?
I planned to have it done for the scene of the crash, and it's not going to happen. I've ran out of time, and hopefully by this time next year we'll be driving it and being able to run it around town. So
You did. You're hooked.
So it's a car show for everybody from older that just want to sit in their lawn chairs by their cars, and then we've got stuff for little kids. We've got games, the little greaser contest, the little pinup contest, and then we get a big water slide, inflatable water slide for them. And then we have the adult pinup contest. Friday night you can check in your cars that night. We have one food vendor Friday night, and you can check in your campers then too if you're camping. But mainly everything's on Saturday, but a lot of people like to come for more than one day, so to see their friends traveling, like all the car show people. So we get a lot more on Friday now that it's growing more. So, but
Okay.
the main events are on Saturday. It's at the Dakota County Thurston Fairgrounds, July 16th.